It has been a roller coaster of a weekend for sports fans all across the world. From watching the French Open final to the starting of the Euros to the emotional match that was played out between Denmark and Finland, which saw Christian Eriksen go through possibly the toughest thing that he would in his life, eventually recovering out of it. Thank God for that. And many more such things happening over this weekend. Now, we start off this beautiful week by talking about the biggest tennis match that I have seen literally for the past few years. Not in terms of the players who were involved, but the quality of tennis that was there at display. The Roland Garros French Open final men's singles played between Novak Djokovic and Stefanos Tsitsipas. Now, Novak Djokovic coming into this game had beaten Rafael Nadal in the semi-final of the French Open. Now, that in itself was a match worthy of a final, a match lasting for more than 4 hours and 10 minutes. It was a game which Nadal was touted to win given his expertise on the clay court, but Novak Djokovic showing why he is the current world number one in this magnificent era with such amounts of talent present in the tennis sport. Coming back to the final encounter, Stefanos Tsitsipas and Novak Djokovic. Tsitsipas won the opening two sets. Yes, you heard me right. He won the first 2 sets, meaning that Novak Djokovic had to do it the hardest way possible in tennis. He had to come down from 2 sets down and he had to win the next 3 sets on the bounce if he wanted any chance of lifting his second Roland Garros trophy. And that is exactly what he did. For the 6th time in his career, the 2nd time in a Grand Slam finale, Novak Djokovic was able to pick himself up, dust himself off, and after losing the opening 2 sets, came back to win the next 3 sets back to back and claimed his 19th career Grand Slam title, his 2nd at the Roland Garros, and he is now just 1 more title away from equaling the record of Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal's 20 Grand Slam titles apiece. Novak Djokovic is also now the first man in the Open era to win each Grand Slam at least 2 times in his career. That just shows the man's dominance and his mental strength when it comes to Grand Slam events, and his ability and his capability to adapt to different forms of courts and still dominate the best of the world. He also has a chance of achieving another very unique feat. This calendar year, he's been able to win the Australian Open and now the French Open. And now he has the shot of winning the remaining 2 Masters of this year. Now that is something that hasn't been accomplished since the year 1969 when it was done by Rod Laver, the great Rod Laver. But that is again something that we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's get back to the game. And you could see that the match between Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic, that victory after which Djokovic went on to say that it was possibly his best victory against the Spaniard and the toughest game that he had played against him, had taken a toll on him. Because when the final started, the opening 2 sets, Novak Djokovic was not looking like himself. He was slow to react, he was missing a lot of easy balls, and there were a number of unforced errors, which meant that Tsitsipas was able to take that commanding lead over the Serbian. But after the turn of the 2 sets, when we entered the 3rd set, Novak Djokovic started showing his class and his endurance. And it has long been known in the world of tennis that there are not many players other than Novak Djokovic who have the kind of stamina to last that quality of tennis when it comes to 5-setters. He has the best record when it comes to winning 5-setter encounters, and he keeps maintaining that. Another Grand Slam victory for the world number 1, but a word of thought for the world number 5, Stefanos Tsitsipas. We could see in the last set that he was out of gas, but just the way that he kept pushing himself and kept coming back into the match in the last set, just ticking off game after game, trying to claw his way back into the encounter, just spoke volumes of the 22-year-old world number 5 Stefanos Tsitsipas, which will hold him in good stead when he turns older and progresses in the sport. So that concludes yet another Masters tournament. Yet another Grand Slam event is done and dusted, and it goes the way of Novak Djokovic. Can the argument be made that Novak Djokovic is the best of all time when it comes to men's singles tennis? Maybe it can be made. He has stupendous numbers to back that argument, but only once he finishes off his career, once we know what he has achieved throughout his glorious career, will we be able to answer that question properly.